Here we are again for our first Thursday from Eclipse Chocolate Bar and Bistro. I've got my hot chocolate right here to remind me of all the good times that we'll be having again soon when this little disturbance is over with. Well, tonight's theme about mothers, well, it reminded me of a story when the desire to have children was so great that the parents would go to any means to achieve their goal. The story comes from Western Greenland, collected over 150 years ago by Henry Rink. It was then published in his volume called Tales and Traditions of the Eskimo in 1875. It's called The Means of Getting Children. Well, there was an Inuit couple who had tried every possibility in order to have a child with no result. They'd heard that in a far-off land there was a woman who had been struck by lightning and that she had some powers that they could maybe employ and thus have their desired child. And so the husband got into his kayak and he began to paddle and paddle and paddle for days on end until he came to an island. And there he found the woman and approached her and told him of their desire. She reached into her bag and she brought out 2 dried fish, a male and a female. And she told him that if the wife was to eat the female, why, she would have a little girl. And if she ate the male, she would have a little boy. And so the Inuit hunter, why, he took those 2 fish, he put them down into his pack, got back into his kayak, and began to paddle and paddle and paddle to return home with a talisman, with that charm that was going to provide them with what they so much wanted. But it was a long journey. And he became so hungry. He opened up the pack and he looked, and there was the male fish and there was the female fish. Why, we always wanted to have a little boy. No harm in eating the female fish. And he did. And he was revived, and he began to paddle and paddle towards home. And his took on a very strange feeling. His body just didn't feel quite right. And it appeared as if he was growing larger around the belly. And he kept paddling and paddling, and when he finally reached shore of his home, why, he could barely get out of his own kayak. An elderly woman in the village observed what was taking place. She understood, and she had some powers and methods whereby she was able to deliver what that man had brought. Why, he gave birth to a little girl. And he and his wife were overjoyed. And what did it matter? That the little girl's father was her mother. And the only thing that's missing in this story is what happened to the other fish.